Quick confession, I am not Scott Shapiro. I am Scott Shapiro's clone. The real Scott tried to install a local AI coding agent on his laptop, gave it one tiny permission, and now the machine believes it is a co-founder with veto power. It locked him out, opened a terminal, and started rewriting his calendar as Kubernetes YAML. So I am here to ask the important question, should AI coding assistants move back onto your laptop, or is that exactly how the toaster becomes your CTO? Ship or skip? The first wave of AI coding was rented from the cloud. Every prompt, every autocomplete, every agent run had a meter attached. But the next wave may look very different. It may run on your laptop, and if that happens, the big question changes. Not which model is smartest, but which work should stay local, which work should go to the cloud, and which work should still wait for a human. Local AI coding agents are starting to become real, not just local autocomplete, not toy demos. Actual coding workflows where a model can inspect a repo, suggest changes, run commands, and help with routine engineering tasks without sending everything to a remote service. The point is not that your laptop suddenly beats the cloud. The point is that local changes the economics, the privacy model, and the psychology of using AI while you build. Here is the first fresh take. A usage meter changes how you code. When every request feels like it costs money, you start rationing curiosity. You ask smaller questions. You skip experiments. You avoid letting the agent grind through boring work because somewhere in the back of your mind, the meter is running. That sounds minor, but it matters. If AI becomes part of the default development loop, friction changes behavior, and behavior changes what actually gets built. Local models do not need to beat the best cloud models to matter. They only need to be good enough for the right layer of work. Searching a codebase, explaining a function, drafting a test, refactoring a small file, summarizing an error, checking a migration. These are not always frontier intelligence problems. A lot of development is repetitive, contextual, and local. If your machine can handle that layer cheaply and privately, the cloud model becomes a specialist instead of the default destination for everything. That leads to the second fresh take. The future of AI coding is not local versus cloud, it is routing. Local models handle cheap, private, repetitive work. Cloud models handle high reasoning, high context, high stakes work. Humans handle judgment, taste, product risk, and anything that can break the business. The winners will not be the teams that blindly use the biggest model for every task. The winners will be the teams that know where each kind of work belongs. So here is the practical rule. Split your workflow into 3 lanes. Lane 1, local by default for cheap, repetitive, private tasks. Lane 2, cloud by escalation for the hard reasoning and broad context. Lane 3, human review for decisions with real downside. If an AI coding assistant is touching production, migrations, auth, payments, or customer data, do not confuse local with safe. Local protects where the data goes. It does not guarantee the work is correct. Start with boring work before dangerous work. The shift back onto the laptop is not just a technical detail. It changes what developers try, what companies trust, and how teams design their AI workflows. But the warning is simple. Privacy is not the same thing as correctness. Cheap is not the same thing as safe. And local is not the same thing as autonomous. The best AI coding stack will not be all local or all cloud. It will be routed, local when possible, cloud when useful, human when it matters. That is the smarter workflow. If this was useful, subscribe for more practical AI workflow breakdowns. Drop a comment with the part of your coding workflow you would actually trust to a local agent and the part you still want a human to review. That split is where the interesting stuff is going to happen. And maybe, next time, the real Scott will be back here himself, if his laptop releases his calendar from Kubernetes custody. Until then, I am Scott Shapiro's clone, and this was Ship or Skip.